Hello and welcome to Star Citizen Sunday with me, Ryan, aka Mac. This is a weekly show which covers everything from the world of Star Citizen over the past week. Links to everything discussed can be found in the description below, so let's get on with it. This week, 2.4 NDA has lifted, we see the Caterpillar interior white box, plus we give away the HCS Orion voice pack. If you are still to sign up to the RSI website, please use my referral code as shown on screen or in the description, and you'll receive 5,000 United Earth credits which can be spent in the Voyager Direct store for your ships, your character, or whatever you choose. You don't have to spend anything to sign up, it's only once you pledge that I'll be granted an RP point, which will get me some little rewards in the future. So if you haven't heard, the big news this week is that Patch 2.4 has been pushed out to the next wave of PTU testers. The NDA is lifted and there are around 5,000 plus people now testing the game or testing 2.4, including myself. In 2.4 we have the flyable Starfarer plus the flyable Starfarer Gemini, hangar ready Reliant. We have shopping with new weapons, armor, flight suits, clothing, all which can be purchased using Alpha United Earth credits which you earn by completing missions. Persistence is in as well, so everything you do is saved. When you log out of the game and log back in again, you can continue from where you left off. Port modification is in as well. You've got customizing of your ships and your hangars, plus more, lots more. This is the first iteration of everything we see here, so there are bugs. It's, we're still trying to fight through the shit to get to the cool stuff. It's a great patch, which I kind of think now adds longevity to the game. It has it gives you a reason to play. I have found myself wanting to play more and more and more just to get those credits. Really, really cool. Be sure to subscribe to me on YouTube as I will be bringing all the cool stuff from 2.4. I already have got up a couple of videos, I think 3 videos already of 2.4. This next week, it's all going to be 2.4. I will be bringing you in detail everything that is new. Plus, follow me on Twitch, SuperMacBrothers Ryan. There are links in the description. I stream currently 3 times a week. It's a lot of fun trying out 2.4 while chatting to you. It's a good way to get in contact with me and just say hello. I really enjoy being able to speak to you all. Anyway, follow those links, get yourself subscribed, get yourself followed on Twitch, and let's have some fun. So in 10 for the developers this week, we had the senior producer Eric Kieran Davis and the associate rigger Gage Hallman answering 10 questions from us lot. I didn't choose all 10, I only chose the ones that I think are really relevant to us. First question being, will CIG release the style guides, which are the style guides they use for each manufacturer so they follow a trend? And they say they can't say for definite yes or no, but they don't see why they wouldn't. Second question is, how has the clothing layering system developed? Now they say they are moving away from the CDF files to an item-based system. The past month they have been working around the clock to get it working smoothly. They are doing something similar, or very similar to Warhorse Studios, who create the Kingdom Come Deliverance game, which I actually cover on my channel. Do take a look at the playlists. Really cool medieval game. But the goal is to have all the clothes functioning properly with layers without clipping through. They say it's very challenging, but it's coming along well. Next question, what is CIG's stance on realism regarding body shapes? Is it anatomically correct or more of a classic video game look? And they say they can't speak directly on characters as it's not their area, but they have 3D scans of real people. So they've actually scanned real people, and the artists then improve those scans to make them as detailed as possible. Clothing, they say, will add more of an extra sort of sci-fi look, but it sounds like realism is the way they're going. So second to last question, is the Pupil to Planet character an example of what we can expect to be able to make using the character creator? It's a good question, and he says he was one of the scanned heads. It's the first implementation of that character, so it will be the first one coming online. They've got a whole lineup ready, but they want to get that one done first, and then they will look at the rest. So again, they're creating this sort of pipeline for characters like they did for ships, and as soon as they've got the base pipeline complete, it is just a case of clicking them all into place, and it will be so much faster. So final question, will Star Citizen have loose clothing physics? Will clothing flutter in the wind, basically? And they say it's not set in stone, but they will get simulated clothing eventually. It's very experimental right now, but the current R&D does look really cool. So early days, not likely, but it is something they want to achieve. Anyway, that was a quick 10 for the devs. The rest, as I say, were just sort of irrelevant questions about what your favourite type of cloth is. If you are interested, do follow the links in the description to watch the full thing. So on to Around the Verse, episode 2.32. Ben is back. It's good to see Ben back. The Bucaneer concept sale is on May the 28th. It's going to be more manoeuvrable, less cargo space than the Cutlass. It's going to be more of a pirate ship as well. Same size and same scale as the Cutlass. This is what the Cutlass was intended to be to start with before it got changed. The subscriber fare this month is a space cactus. That should be in our hangars when 2.4 drops. So news from Around the Verse, starting with the LA office. We met a new member. They say there's lots of work going on 2.4 on clothing and the Caterpillar, and we'll have some item 2.0 news soon. CIG in Austin, they are updating the inspect weapons animation. This is to do with shopping when you're in Crusader or on Arc, or you go into a shop and look at your weapon. They're also supporting rentals and promotions, and for a future release, they're looking at more shops for a new space station, which is the pirate-based sort of outlaw station, where they'll have other things for sale, more outlaw armor, different clothing, different weapons, just trying to give us an incentive to travel. Foundry 42 in the UK, they are working on weapon effects. We actually saw 2 new weapons, one the Bearing laser cannon, which is on the Starfarer Gemini's top turret, and a scattergun, which shoots 8 projectiles, kind of like a shotgun. The plan next is to get some hit effects from weapons, so when a weapon hits snow, glass or dirt or ice, plus different metal types, so it won't be the same every time depending on the metals that you hit, so it will actually be quite dynamic. So Foundry 42 in Frankfurt, they say lots of progress on planets. They're optimizing and bug fixing them. Local physics grids are getting some work on as well, specifically for the Starfarer, as we know. There are sort of some clipping issues. The EVA physics has had some work done as well. They're progressing on water with different water directions on planets. They've finished off the scattergun, and they have amended the railgun from feedback, and AI subsumption work continues. So after this, we got the, as promised, Caterpillar Part 2 Ship Shape Edition. It's had a new white box. All of it is work in progress, so things will likely change, but they did say that it's gone past this stage already. They have even begun building modules, and the habitat module is almost fully built out. They've said we can have 4 modules which can be swapped out. It looks like you have your end module as well, which will have different uses, and at the back it seems to be a habitation area as standard, so it looks like that's there to stay. So they're dealing with cargo modules at the moment, which is why all we see is cargo. This is more of a mock-up of cargo. You've got one with sort of a semi-good hauling, one empty, and then one full. Each cargo unit we see is one standard cargo unit, and it looks as though there's about 102. I've done my calculations, which are likely wrong, and it looks like you can have 102 standard cargo units per compartment, or per module. The doors open either side, which is a nice touch. The one without the catwalk side looks like the more appropriate one to open, but if you are in a tight squeeze, then the other side will work as well. The catwalk is now on the side rather than in the center as it was before. This is because it'll be better for firefights, plus they're keeping with the asymmetry of the ship. Now they're thinking about terminals as well. We'll see more of this later on, but they're thinking of ambient interactions. The panel is there to show you what cargo you're holding, so on and so forth. Each compartment or each module will have its own terminal. There's bulkheads in between each module as well, so if one does get blown off, it won't cause the whole ship to depressurize. There'll be components in each module as well, so your life support and so forth, which are on the catwalk, above the catwalk on the roof, and it drops down, you can access it, you can repair it. Really cool. I love this whole engineering idea. I can't wait to see how it all works. Now, at the front of the Caterpillar, you've got your little front module. These will have various uses, nothing said as to what yet, but it has turret access to the front turret there, plus door control with an atmospheric shield that you can turn on and off, and the cargo clamp control, so you can jettison your cargo, as we see in the sort of top left-hand corner. It didn't work there at that time. The habitation room, it has life support on the wall to access for repair again. It has an armory and a little lift, which looks like it's probably the best way for everyone to get in at once, rather than opening your modules. Further back is the engine room. You have your engines, your shield generator, the ammo, your fuel. You've got an engineering terminal as well. This is 2 stories. This is the lower story. Above there you'll have the avionics power plants, jump drives and coolers. Really, really cool engineering space this. To me, with the sort of the gritty look of Drake ships, I think this is going to be one of my favourite ships out there, especially when it comes to engineering and being a mechanic. Perfect locations for it. The rear turret can lower down. It's got no floor at the moment. They've done a mock-up for the terminal interactions, as I mentioned before. Kind of a natural view of the panel where you can message people on the ship. You can look at the ship map. You can see people's locations within the ship, which seems very important. So if someone does try and break in, you will be able to see where they are, unless there's a way to stop that. Also, you can control bulkheads and doors and so on and so forth. Really cool. I do like these panels. Now the command module, which is what we saw, it can attach and detach. It's the bridge. The view is pretty good regardless of the right hand having the full ship on it. It's also 2 floors. On the lower floor you've got your habitation area, showers and lockers. On the top obviously you've got your bridge, and it looks like co-pilots and so forth. The seats we see are the Cutlass seats, but they're not going to be what we'll have for the Caterpillar. I think it's just a stopgap for the moment. The command module will also have an engineering room right at the back, so Obviously when this detaches, you'll still need to have engines and thrusters and all sorts of stuff that an engineer will need to be working on. After that, we saw the tractor beam mock-up. Now this is kind of an idea of how it may work. It's still work in progress, very, very early days. They're still looking into it to see how it would work better for the best. But we can get an idea. Now, as I say, they have actually gone past the stage that they're in now. They are mocking up these different modules. I'm hoping that this will be the first ship that we get to use cargo with. It seems they've got a good system going already. Possibly not, because we have got the Freelancer, the Starfarer now, and the Constellation. But it will be nice to have this in the game, or at least in hangar. Anyway, after that, we went to the Lawmaker's Guide to the Galaxy. We saw systems Tamsa and Min. We saw two because they are both pretty small systems. Tamsa has a black hole at its centre, and Min system has a rogue planet with 4 moons. Do check it out if you are interested. A lot of science behind it all, and it's awesome to learn. Most valuable poster goes to Acno Rayborn for his video Ghost Strike. Really cool, worth checking out. And the ATV fast forward is the part 2 of the piping system. We saw a bit of hacking, kind of straightforward, but still work in progress, so hopefully it'll get a bit more advanced later on. We saw light controls, power distribution on and off, and destroying stations. Again, another cool ATV, especially with that caterpillar. I am so hyped for that. Let me know your thoughts. Let's move on. So next up is Reverse the Verse. It was good to see Ben and Alexis back. So happy to have them back working on the game again. You say they've done a lot of work for the Bucaneer sale. Merchandise that's coming up. We have the polo shirts. There's a big Benny shirt and there's a Squadron 42 hoodie that'll be coming along soon. 2.4 hit the PTU. There is a lot under the hood. A huge refactoring of the under the hood stuff. Hangars now run on the servers rather than on your local PC. The item port is what will allow you to customize your ships, your characters, almost everything. There are surface features which are cool, like the Starfarer, the Reliant, shopping, but the back-end features are much bigger and far more important, so it's good to have them in the game now. As soon as you get all this back-end stuff, the game will progress much quicker. So on to Where's My Spaceship now. To start with the Bucaneer, this is the second mainline pirate fighter from Drake. Basically what people wanted the Cutlass to be. It's inspired by attack helicopters and the A-10 Warthog. There is a mini-game coming soon. Nothing really was said about it. And over yesterday, I think it was, we had a cool sort of Twitter post where if it got enough people, enough retweets, then it would decrypt the image. The Herald would decrypt the image and you get to see what it looks like. I'll show you a picture of it now. It does look very nice. And onto the Caterpillar, it's progressed a lot further than what we saw in Around the Verse. They will show some more in the coming weeks. If you are a subscriber to Robert Space Industries, there has been a few pictures. I'll show a couple, but obviously I can't really show them all because they're for subscribers. So the F7A is being prepped for Squadron 42. The Herald is very close, and they'll soon be moving on, or they are moving on to the Karak. Very exciting. So on to the Q&A. They say the UK team will be making the Reclaimer, but this ship is a lot longer down the schedule. Ben did sort of say that the schedule is the Caterpillar, the Karak, then the Banu Merchantman, then the Orion, and then the Reclaimer. That's not set in stone, but that is generally, I think, what the plan is. Now, someone did ask why the Karak before the Banu Merchantman, and it's because Anvil's design guide, or their language, their ship language, is pretty much done. They've got a lot more assets that they can build it out quicker. It is also the most popular ship. It needs a little bit of concept work, and then they can begin building, whereas the Banu needs all its style guides putting together and its ship language working out. So the Karak is more straightforward and quicker. Also, they did say once they've got the Banu Merchantman style guide working, or the Banu's style guide, then you'll see some more Banu ships, which is very cool. So next question is to do with the piping video, and it's then they ask, will we be able to learn how to repair these panels when they're destroyed? And they say the plan is obviously to have repair for your ships, so they don't see why they can't put that across into planet-side sort of, I don't know, panels and modules. So in terms of the Reliant, if you own the Reliant base, you will see that in 2.4. The problem is if you don't own the Reliant base, because I own the Reliant Mako, and my replacement ship for the Mako is the Hornet. But hopefully, over time, they will decide that it makes more sense for anyone who owns any variant of the Reliant to have the base model for the hangar, because I would like to see that. But anyway, they say they're building out the bases for each ship before creating the variants, but they are almost at the point where they can start working on variants as well. So Persistence will evolve and be refactored as the game development progresses. This is just the first iteration we're seeing in 2.4. Chris Roberts was actually talking about abandoned ships and how he wants them to last longer in an instance, so to persist longer, which is very exciting. So I think if you abandon your ship, then they may last longer than I think the initial 5 minutes, I think is what he said before, if no one is in that instance. So if you are venturing around in that part of space, hopefully it can last for hours. We don't know. It's all speculation. Anyway, after that, they say there was no ship commercials due to the cinematics team because they are working on Squadron 42. Once they are free from Squadron 42, we'll see some more ship commercials because they really enjoy working on them. There will be a new keyboard mapping when they finish mapping it for 2.4 because there's been a big refactor of the keys, all the buttons and so forth, so we'll need maps. They've had a meeting recently regarding the 85X, which is the 890 jump little dual runaround ship, but nothing more was said there. The new patch system is actively being worked on. This is what will bring patches down from 20 gig every time there's a new update to sort of, tiny gigs, maybe megs. But basically, it'll just download the information we need on the new files we need rather than the whole game every time. There will be another anniversary ship sale where all the ships go on sale. This is going to be in around November when it is celebrating the 4th year of Star Citizen. The Dragonfly is coming in the not too distant future. They are still awaiting the SciTech prototype. Kind of concerned about this. I don't know why it's taken SciTech so long, but it's out of our hands and out of their hands really. They're spending this week going through the Shuban entries. There are 35,000 entries to win the Orion. They will be going through them and picking their favourites, and they'll announce it hopefully next week. But it's a big job for them. And also the Bucaneer will sort of be built out later this year. Once they've got the Drake language and style guides done, it won't take them too long. Obviously the Caterpillar and the Herald are what they're using for these style guides. So that was the Q&A. Looking ahead, I think Friday they said is the Bucaneer sale. And that was pretty much it. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. Let's move on. Also this week, we had a new Congress Now post, which highlights a little xenophobia within the UEE. Bug Smashers episode 25 is available, plus the next jump point is out for the RSI subscribers. So as you may know, over the course of last week, I was giving away a HCS Orion voice pack, thanks to the Noobifier and Programmer Sam, who are both redacted members, and Voice Attack and HCS for providing us with the packs. To enter, you just had to comment in last week's Star Citizen Sunday with who you would want to hear as a voice pack. There were some really cool answers. In fact, the majority of people chose Morgan Freeman, but there can only be one winner, and I used a randomizer to decide, so that winner is John Wilson. Congratulations, sir. His answer was Douglas Rain from HAL, a 2001 Space Odyssey. Very nice choice there. Congratulations, mate. You are the winner of the HCS Orion voice pack. I shall be in touch. I would like to thank West Sage, Lactinator, and Ryan Landis, who all became my patrons this last week. Your support really helps, and I appreciate it so greatly. Also, on a side note, I would just like to take the time to thank every one of my subscribers, new and old of course. I am approaching the 10,000 subscriber mark, which is just unbelievable, and throughout it you've all been incredibly supportive and awesome, so thank you so much for putting up with me. So that brings us to the end of the show. Thank you for watching, and thank you to our subscribers, plus a massive thank you to our patrons as you make this possible. If you like what we do and want to help us make it better, follow the link in the description to our Patreon page to learn more.